Hey everyone, thank you for joining me today at AndrewCarsonIllustration.com. Thanks for stopping in, you guys. We are doing sketch tutorial number 10. We are heading out on a safari doing a lion portrait. This is a 45-minute time set, squeezed down to a 6-minute video here for you. Supply lists and supplements are available on my website or on my Patreon site. As with all of these sketch tutorial videos, the idea here is to put some urgency on what you're doing by having a hard stop 45 minutes in. And with that, let's dive right in. So here's our lion. First thing I did is I took this photo, made it black and white in Photoshop so I could see the values better, and now it's just about putting in basic shapes and proportions. Trying to get an outline of our lion, see how far his nose goes out, where his hair stops. All of his basic proportions are constantly being assessed and reassessed and reevaluated all throughout, but especially right now, I'm trying to get those basic proportions in place. It's important for me to size up like where his mouth stops, where his eyes actually lie. It's really important to establish these things in the very beginning, and then to work with them and adjust them as you go. I'd like to note that although I'm adding lines on his mane, I'm actually adding values. I'm actually adding textures. All these like multi-layered little threads of value that will fill up the space. I'm busy like reinforcing some of those darker areas now around the eyes, the nose, and the mouth especially are the darkest points really on this lion. So those I'm kind of constantly reinforcing those ideas onto this as I go. And as I smudge in more lines and textures really all over him, what I'm actually doing is adding in more shadows is what's going on here. I'm conveying how shadows are taking up the areas that the light just doesn't hit with every little bit that I'm adding in. And now I am reinforcing the eyes with the denser darker charcoal because I'm more certain about where the placements are. So now it's about popping in more contrast with that denser darker stuff. Yeah, I'm following up with the nose and the mouth now on this lion. Those are the darkest areas, so they warrant a little darker treatment with the denser charcoal. Now, because the value of the lion is lighter than his background, the more that I increase the contrast between the backs and the lights, the more the lion's going to pop out. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm working from the back forward because darkening these backgrounds is really going to make the lion much more visible all over the page. Just continuing to add more shadows and shades. Don't forget, everybody, use your vine charcoal for this. The midtones are way more valuable than trying to put in the absolute darks with the denser dark charcoals. Most of this should be done with vines. And then accented, really, with your darker, denser blacks and the darker, denser white charcoals, too. Now, white charcoal is really useful for this particular one because there are so many very fine white hairs all over this lion. And again, we're not drawing in lines per se. They are fine hairs that are being accented by light falling on them. And the whites will really pop out because they work really well with the grays that you've laid down underneath them. So you'll feel the shadows happening underneath the hair. by adding these white textures on top of everything. Further reinforcing a little bit of contrast there, which pops out just that much more, just a little bit more. At this point, I'm getting ready to finish. I know that I'm almost out of time, and so I'm trying to just get the most important things in. So at this point, I'm looking at the overall, really, the biggest areas of light and shadow that I can accent the most, just to get the most bang for my buck, so to speak, at the end of this here. And there you go, guys. A lion sketch in 45 minutes. I challenge each of you guys to try this project yourself. Supply lists and source references are available on my posts for this video. Patreon members get first dibs, and it's also going to be on my website too. Thanks for dropping by, and I'll see you guys next week. Take care, be safe, have fun, and see you soon.